Hello, 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 hello.
Hi there.
So great to see you. Marianne gets the point for being the first to say hello, but Stephen gets extra points for sending a $10 super chat. Guy.
Oh, love that.
And
you know,
in
I
fact,
didn't realize
you
until
throw it
we
up real quick.
until we started down this road.
Very nice.
You know, all these kids around, I say kids, anyone younger than me is a kid or a slick is what I call them.
You're Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes. Sport, all those things. I didn't realize how much money people can make. We're not making it yet, but people like Steven are helping us, and we appreciate it. But
Be more like Steven.
I've talked to all these kids, and now I realize because I was guilty of it. These kids won't work today. There's nobody at the restaurant. They can't staff it. It's because these kids don't know how to work. They're making six figures at home doing this.
Yeah. I mean, and it's challenging because that is their world.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for us, finding the niche, being older, and, you know, trying to connect to people who are still that involved in it is challenging, but super fun, still having a great time.
And that's why it's so important for you to share these posts, recommend us to your friends, like our post. We need all the help we can get.
I mean, if you're active on social media at all, you have a YouTube channel where you have subscribed to us. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those things, please help us spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
We'd really appreciate it. So let's catch up on so many good longtime friends here. TK1 Brenda, hello. Good to
Love
see
you,
you.
Brenda.
Susan, hello to you. Mr. Tom Chaney in the house.
The man. And
Sir.
you know what? Congratulations to him, an artist he manages, who's been on this show, by the way, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Top 15 hit in Texas country music chart.
Nice, very nice. Well, I just saw Tom put up you put up a picture the other day of you holding that little peep toy, and I want you to know that you and my dog Henry have the same toy. Tim Henry's is blue and yours is pink. And just so you know too, I made a lot of private jokes about peeping your pants to Katie, and she got a real kick out of it. So, all right, Rebecca, hello, love you. Yeah, Brenda actually made it for the live. Yeah, usually Brenda has to catch up later.
Yes.
So it's nice to see you. We're not doing these as often, and so I think most people are catching up.
We're shooting for the first Friday of every month.
That's it, first Friday of each month, unless something special is happening, because we're so busy with doing other content and getting stuff up. It's hard to maintain an every week thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're glad you're here, and obviously, as we have a chance to catch up. Anybody has any questions, anything to talk about, anything you want to make sure we get into, please speak up.
I can jump in while we're waiting for some questions. You'll notice Cody is not here tonight. And we were going to unveil his new name, Mr. Mercedes. It's a cool name, ain't it? Yeah, because he works with Mercedes now, and he's keeps getting raises and moving up the chain over there. Now he's Mr. Mercedes.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So we were excited about that, but he's not here because he said he wasn't feeling well, and we were going to turn tonight into a candlelight vigil for him, but I'm going to read this text from him, and this should just let everybody, I don't want to bring the night down, but Tony Chris, should this be my final text? See, he said he wasn't feeling well, so apparently it's not well at all.
I mean, he's a guy not feeling well. This is correct.
I just want to know how inspirational you two are to me and how much I love you. And if anybody, I don't want cards, flowers, or thoughts. What I want is everyone to give you guys super thanks. So thank you, Cody, for that. It's very unselfish of you.
Indeed. If you're on YouTube, you can do that. Instagram, too, is set up for that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later in our ask. Susan, my grandson is 8. He's already says he's going to be a YouTuber when he grows up.
I'm telling you. I mean,
he doesn't have to wait, man. There are kids his age making tons of money just like opening and playing with toys on YouTube.
We interviewed a kid, and I remember you and I just being standard old men jerks, rolling our eyes because this kid's like 10, and he started doing videos of him opening toys and playing with them and then saying what he thought about it. And the kid was making like $8 million a year.
The unboxing of stuff I find very interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's clearly a thing. In fact, I have got a box that has been sitting in my dining room for now, I would say 3 to 4 months at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a box of records. We talked about this. Katie's boss and friend and her husband, we spent a few hours on a FaceTime going through a record collection that belonged to one of their parents or aunts or something.
Okay.
And they let me pick out what I wanted. And then they sent it to me. And it was so long between the picking and the sending. Now it has been here and has been in this box. I haven't opened it. I have forgotten what's in it. So I am going to do an unboxing on that because I actually am very excited to see what is in this box.
Please splice in Brad Pitt yelling, "What's in the box?"
Well, yeah, I mean, that's obviously it's us. Of course, we're going to do that. Kim, TK1 Kim, good to see you. How you doing?
By the way, those of you keeping score at home, 7 was one of our favorite movies of all time. top 10 for me at least.
Yeah. Well, and a great Easter weekend watch.
Yes. Fantastic.
Probably not. Speaking of Easter, hope you if you celebrate Easter, we hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Hope you have great plans with family. We are the show that we just put up Thursday night on YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out and see if you can count how many times we dipped our toe in some light blasphemy.
Light blasphemy. Is that how you tagged it?
I put in the description. I said all the things that are in the video, plus a little light blasphemy.
So if you want to see how many people pay attention to your post, you might share that one. Just see.
Look, if you know us, you know us, and
I'll tell you what I say. Jesus has a sense of humor.
Well, that's it. Come on. It's funny to me, and I love the couple of comments I've seen over the last few days on socials about us. People commenting that they love seeing us. I love seeing the real you, the unfiltered you in these videos. I got news for you. We are still heavily filtered.
Actually, very true.
You have no idea.
And you see, now what's sad is I'm like on video and I can be unfiltered, but I also have a daughter. And so now I've always got that in the back of my head. Like, I don't want to have to explain this.
I just, ultimately, I don't want to be 100% me on there because I just don't think we could stay monetized on YouTube because I'm just a rotten human being.
You are. That is confirmed.
But the kid thing I don't care about.
Yeah.
Tiki and Kim working a new job now, doing great. Hope you guys are doing
nice.
Great. You both look great. Thank you, Kim.
You.
You're too kind. What's your new gig? Because you had not had that other gig too long when we left the radio station. So would be curious to know about that. Easter blasphemy. I can't remember the last thing I said.
The last thing you said was left the radio station.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I will, and may I just say how happy I don't have a care in the world about that stuff. People, I've still run into people out in public here in Knoxville, which is very sweet, who say such kind things, and they'll ask about stuff and I said, I haven't gotten out of bed before 9 a.m. except to take Betty to the vet since this has happened. It's been fantastic. I don't listen to the radio station. I don't care about the radio station. I wish them terrible things because they're terrible people. Those are in the upper management who did what they did. Other than that, I'm great.
Here's the thing. Classy men, a big man, would move on and not think about it and just say, hey, you know what? That's behind me. I am not a big man.
I don't pay attention, but I still get all the scoop.
Yeah. A friend of mine called who has he's privy to, from the radio station he works at, the ratings. And I'll just say this. Bobby Bones is the #1 country morning show in East Tennessee. And he's like 4th overall.
Never happened when we were there.
Yep, never happened.
Okay, that's all we're going to say about that. Kim, at Oshkosh, like Oshkosh Bagosh, like the kids' clothing company? That's cool. Hello, Wendy. Late as always, but here. Hey, better late than never. Glad you're here.
We'll take it.
Thanks for showing up. We know Friday evenings can be challenging. So is anybody keeping up with the Motley Crue drama?
Oh, my goodness. Now, I've been lucky enough to meet those guys twice. And the first time was in the 90s at Coors Amphitheater in San Diego. And I was with our dear friend Greg Fry.
Love him.
And we thought Mick's not going to live through the show because he has this disease even back then. And when he came off the bus to get a picture with us, the record rep was like, oh my God, Mick never comes to these ever because he doesn't feel good enough. And he came off and we were like, wow, we're going to get one of the last pictures of Mick Mars. I've met him twice since then. and the fact that he's out of the band now after 41 years and they hate each other so badly.
I just hate that. I mean, I don't know these guys. We've interviewed, Nikki and Tommy. They were the second rock act I saw. I saw them open for Ozzy in 1983 or 84, somewhere around there. And I'm a big fan. And I don't like to see bands crumble the way they have like this. It's just a real bummer.
Well, and the fact that, he's going, well, they all sing to tracks and they're not even playing their own stuff. I believe that because all the bands are doing that now.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be more rare, I think, to find people playing their music. Like, I won't say like Rach. There's an artist that toured for a while that it was clear Rachel's background vocals were being used on the tour.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Okay, so let me just back up just a little bit because I was way off base here.
Okay.
Not Oshkosh. No, we make defense vehicles and telehandlers. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what a telehandler is.
What is a telehandler? Kim, make us smarter. Wendy came back and said that's who I listen to now. So she had to break down and listen to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, I hope the Motley Crue thing can get settled because it's ugly. And when you're a fan of a band, no matter what the format, and they start having these problems, as a fan, you hate to see it. And I only saw them live once, and that was plenty for me. They were killer. It was awesome, and I don't think that they could have ever topped that early vibe that they had.
And remember, we talked to was it Tommy and Nikki,
right? Yep.
That we sat down with, and they were super funny and nice.
Very cool. Well, Tommy was cool to start. Nikki was engaging and friendly and everything. And it took Tommy a minute to warm up.
Yeah.
He was kind of late. He seemed like he didn't really want to be there at first.
Yeah.
But then got real engaged. It was super cool.
I think he got engaged when I said, no, when you guys were snorting ants with Ozzy and running naked through hotels and destroying rooms, were y'all having meetings on the bus later going, how do we get a country project out there? And he's like, yeah, that's all we talked about.
Yeah, that's their dream. Okay, so here's our answer for telehandlers. Industrial forklifts.
That's what I was going to guess.
Well, JLG telehandler. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you, Kim. And congratulations on the new gig. Indiana Jones, new trailer.
I am not kidding when I say this. Hair stood up on various parts of my body when I saw this trailer. And if you haven't seen the trailer, go see it. It's up on our YouTube page, actually, so you can watch it there. But I was telling Lily earlier that I was 12 or 13 when the first one came out. Or actually, it was 80 when the first one came out. So I was 9. I've watched every one of these with my dad. And I just know, like, this is the last one. It's announced it's the last one. They know it's the last one. Harrison Ford's 80. He'd be 90 if they tried to do another one. And this trailer looks like they're doing it right. Because even Kingdom of Crystal Skull, even the trailer, I was like, We
had our doubts. And
this one, the way the music, it goes from a Rolling Stone song into the theme, and it looks like it's going to be so good. I'm so excited for it.
Fingers crossed, for sure. I want it to go out.
I'm seeing Sala back.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to go out in a blaze of glory. And I feel like this is kind of how Sylvester Stallone looked at Rocky Balboa.
Yes.
Where it was like an apology to everybody for Rocky V.
Yes, that never existed.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this is that same kind of thing. And just, I know you have something real quick on a Harrison Ford note. We've talked about it on our regular shows, but if you missed out, see Shrinking on Apple TV if you have it. It is a brilliant, wonderful show, and Harrison Ford is fantastic in it.
He is that. Okay. When you said Rocky Balboa, I just wanted to point, if you haven't seen that, it's a little thing, but at the last 10 minutes of the movie, he makes it evident or clear that he doesn't care if he wins or loses, much like the first one. But he kind of is walking away and pushed back out into the spotlight, but he hugs every character goodbye. You just have to see the movie if you haven't watched Rocky Balboa. He says goodbye to every character, and then just it's amazing. He's saying goodbye to the character, but at the same time saying goodbye in the movie, and it's just really well done.
Yeah, it is good. Of course, then he shows up again in Creed, so it's as usual.
Yeah,
not really goodbye.
Yeah, when he shows up in the Spider Rico movie, then we got
the long goodbye. On the subject of stuff that people have been watching, I'm just curious because I'm trying to decide whether I want to pull the trigger. Has anyone watched Yellow Jackets on Showtime?
I've heard about that.
I've heard really good things. Katie, I think, watched it like an episode, and she thought it was pretty interesting. But I would just like to get another review or two just to get a balanced opinion on that. So if you've watched that, if you don't mind hitting us up. And then movie-wise, when it comes out to rent, I'll probably watch it. This Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't know if I can pull the trigger.
Well, I know it's definitely not your thing. I mean, I was a kid who played this game. I mean, I was one of those nerds. I mean, who played Dungeons and Dragons.
See, I always heard the urban legends back then of, somebody was playing Dungeons and Dragons and, a monster come up out of the ground and ate them. And
yeah, well, that's bullshit, but okay. I can say that now.
Yes.
I can say that now. No, it's a game that was a lot of fun, and I think if you're a guy my age, and of course I know kids now started playing it again after Stranger Things because that kind of brought it back.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
But I've read so many reviews of this movie that say it's so much fun, and I love Chris Pine, but I'm like as fun as it may seem in the reviews, I just don't know if I can.
I'm having the same issue with the Tetris thing that's out, and everybody says it's fantastic, and I love that actor. But I'm like,
I'm sorry. But when I think of Tetris, all I can think of now is loading the dishwasher. Move stuff around, get it in there just right to get as many things in there as you can. Anyway, if you see those or end up seeing them somewhere, if you'll just shoot us a note or shoot us a comment, I would be curious about that. What else is happening? You guys do anything for Easter?
I have no idea. Yep. My itinerary is how the girls feel and what they want to do, and then I adapt to that. And that's how things go smoother.
Let's see, here we go. Got Marianne. Let's see. Yes, Yellow Jackets is good. Watched it the first season when Xfinity had Showtime free for a week, a couple of weeks ago. Haven't seen the new season.
We had Showtime free too, and I didn't watch the George and Tammy thing. I wanted to see that, and I still haven't seen the Ray Donovan movie.
You're not missing a lot.
Mm.
I mean, it's closure, but it's not great.
Okay.
It's kind of like when Deadwood, clearly they were not prepared for the end because it ended on a cliffhanger. And they finally came back years later and did a Deadwood movie, and it was okay. It was fun to see the characters back, but it wasn't great. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I got closure, but
gotcha.
At what cost?
But the George and Tammy thing, I want to see really bad.
Yeah, and surprisingly, we have not watched that yet. I guess I kind of want to see it. I love that actor, but I'm just like,
It's such a good story. I mean, George Jones. A lot of people don't know this. That guy liked to drink.
Yeah, that's why we love it.
And I mean, the stories that we've heard. And if you watch the Tracy Bird show, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it because we tried to get him to tell some stories. And we know a couple of the stories. But when we say these guys told stories, that they are nothing on Motley Crue and these people that are like, oh, yeah. I mean, nothing.
Again, hopefully you watch that, the YouTube interview. What I said is 100% right. If people knew the real stories of these country singers who they think are just so puritanical and kind and sweet, dude, your hair would fall out. They were insane. They did crazy stuff. I mean, it's the story that we wish we could have gotten to tell about Roger Miller and Mel Tillis. You wouldn't believe it.
No,
you'd call
say
him a liar.
Somebody's lying on that, but it's been confirmed.
Indeed. Let's see. Mr. David Yardley. What's up, brother? Just traveling back, can't stay long. Well, you stay as long as you can. We're just happy you checked in, man. That's awesome. TK, when came, I haven't watched the Tracy Bird episode yet because I don't want my childhood ruined. No, it's a good interview.
No, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. We have a great time, and
we love Tracy. We've known him for a million years.
Yeah, no, your childhood won't be ruined. It's great. He still looks good, sounds good,
and he's still funny. I still think if social media had been around when he was coming up, like it was for Blake, because that's kind of what broke Blake. Blake was on the verge of losing his record deal.
Yeah,
and he started getting on Twitter, and his record labels were like, "Stay off Twitter. Quit talking on Twitter." And he was like, I'm just going to be myself on here. And that's kind of what
it opened him up to a whole new world.
And I think that would have happened for Tracy because Tracy is hysterical.
Funny guy for sure. Brenda says, Chris, I'm proud of how well you are adapting to family life.
Oh, yeah. It's great. It's easy with them.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is, Brenda, and I'll give you a little behind the scenes about Chris, having known him for so long, since we were basically kids ourselves. Chris you've always been vocal. You've wanted a family. This is not something that was like, wow, Chris, I think always wanted to be that, and then he the first marriage thing happened, and it wasn't meant to be.
I just wasn't going to settle,
and I think that's great and good for you. So then you went out and sowed 300 or 400 oats. And now you have settled into a wonderful situation. So, but yeah, he wanted to do that then. And Kim, yes, you definitely should go back and watch that. On the subject of the Tracy Bird thing too, we were going to mention real quick because if you saw this post on Facebook, a so-called country fan.
Oh my goodness. I was so angry. Before you tell this story, it reminds me of, and somewhere on our social media, there's a picture of it, I was out one night, and it was the week, I can't remember who had the number one, but Johnny Bulford, who's played on our cruise, he wrote Lonely Eyes by Chris Young and A Woman Like You.
Great songs.
Lee Bryce.
He's beautiful voice, too.
Yeah,
great. I wish he could be a star.
And then Shay Mooney and I were at Losers, a bar in Nashville, and Shay had a number one. That was a number one, so we were all kind of, celebrating and everything. And I had Jerry Reed on my shirt. And people kept walking by going, cool shirt, man. And Shay Mooney, who had the number one country song in the country, and Johnny Bulford, who has two number ones that he's written or whatever, and they both go, who's Jerry Reed? And I was livid because I'm like, well, he's in the Hall of Fame as probably the second best guitarist to ever come through Nashville. Country singer. And then they were like, oh yeah, wasn't he in that movie? And I'm like, he's in a lot of movies.
So frustrating. Everybody talks about Smokey the Bandit. I'm a Hot Stuff man myself.
A gator.
If you've never seen Hot Stuff, that's a genuinely good movie.
In the 90s, what was the Waterboy?
Waterboy, sure.
So, yeah. But anyway, that's to lead into this story. It was the same kind of anger.
Well, I mean, it's very quick. Basically, somebody talked about being a country fan, but they didn't know who John Anderson was because we had a conversation about John Anderson with Tracy, and it's mind-boggling And I guess,
But when you say I'm a big country fan, who's this John Anderson you're talking about? You just kind of want to strangle somebody.
and I get you can't necessarily know every artist who has ever been in the world of country music or whatever genre you happen to love. I get it. But there are certain artists who put out songs that were so iconic and big. And then John's story, I mean, because he has his comeback in the 90s, I just don't see how you can claim to be a country fan and not take the time to go back and dig into some of that older stuff and find some, because I get it. Not everybody wants to hear, look, I'm no Hank Snow fan.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back. Ray Price is okay. Some of those guys, it's just like, but you will find some absolute solid gold if you dig back into some of that older country music.
And those are the artists that influenced your favorites.
For sure. I mean, and John Anderson, who doesn't know Swingin'?
Swinging, Straight Tequila Night.
Yeah, I mean, and his comeback, Seminole Win, Straight Tequila Night. I wish I could have been there for that.
I'm a Black Sheep guy myself.
Black Sheep's great. Chicken Truck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just do this. Do a little homework. If you're a fan, pick your genre. I assume most of your country because you're here with us now. If you don't know, if you see an artist come across your timeline or you hear somebody mention somebody, you don't know them, go listen. You're right here. If you're here on YouTube, just say, I want to hear a song by this person, and you'll get to find some really cool stuff.
Look up John Anderson, and one of our goals is we have a list of people we're trying to get on. We need to get Terry Clark on. Everybody tag Terry Clark in the comments. Maybe we'll get her to watch this because we need her impression of John Anderson. We've had her do it a couple times.
It's killer.
You know, he's known as the drive-by singer because he's like, no.
Black Sheep of the family.
Yeah, and it just sounds like it's my... So
she's
her
killer.
Version is really good.
Yeah,
so we need to get her on.
TQ and Kim, remember the lip sync battles several years ago? I like the one with Aaron Tippin and John Anderson. And I don't remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
I'll have to go back and find it. Remember line dancing to Swingin'? Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking.
Man, that was a craze. Like before Achy Breaky, Swingin'. I mean, I remember the shirts. People were wearing shirts that said "Just a Swingin'."
Well, I mean, that song, it got played on pop stations. It was such a pop culture phenomenon that it wasn't. I mean, as country as that song should not have been played on pop.
Yeah, but
music,
it was.
But it was because it was just that big. So anyway, there's so much good music out there. If you're a fan of country music, go back and do a little digging.
You know how things change over time. It's funny you just saying that. Swingin' was on pop music. 9 to 5, pop music. Alabama had several songs cross over to the pop side.
Oh, yeah.
But now if a song goes from country to pop, everybody, that ain't real country music.
Well, I mean, you're right, 100%. And I like
As always.
Okay. I like the attitude that Keith Urban has about it. I'm really tired of people saying that's not country or that's not rock or that's not. Music has changed and it's so much more fluid now than it used to be. Mm-hmm. It's really unfair to say that isn't whatever the genre is because if it's something that fans enjoy, I mean, you can't deny it. Now, do I love where country music has gone in some? No.
Oh, absolutely not.
But I'm not going to say it's not country music because at this snapshot in time,
it is.
It is.
Yeah. It's like when George Jones, who basically invented a genre of country, a type of country. He was told when he's trying to make those records, oh, no, you can't do it that way. Johnny Cash, same thing. And they're like, well, you can't sing it like that. And he's like, sure I can.
Well, I mean, pick any of those guys, Willie Nelson.
But those are artists. There's a difference between artist and acts.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's a lot of people they just put in a studio and say, sing it like this to this beat and sound just like that guy, and then we're going to put you out.
Yeah. Stephen, it's okay. Some guy at work was arguing that Sawyer Brown wasn't a band.
Oh.
Get the hell out of here. They were huge, and Star Search. I mean, one of the first.
I just saw Mark
reality
Miller
shows like that
on our Facebook the other day. I don't think he commented, but it was like somebody you may know or something.
Yeah, I mean Sawyer Brown was great. I mean their cover of "The Race Is On" that took a lot of balls.
Yep,
and they delivered.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's a great cover. But I mean, those guys were killer. In fact, when I first got into country in the mid '80s. I remember playing them, still on 45s. It was pretty wild. But and I mean, if you're ready to cry, if you're feeling kind of sad and you want to really get sadder, turn on "All These Years" by Sawyer Brown. One of my favorite country songs, and it is so sad. Oh,
it is that.
It's heartbreaking, but it's so good. And that's the thing about country music; it can touch you in those ways. So get out there, Stephen. Get out there and do the good work. Share the word, let people know about these artists that they may not have heard of. And that time in the 80s is an interesting time for country.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of bands who, didn't last much longer than those few years of that. Desert Rose Band is a good example. Yeah. Guys who used to be in the Byrds and the Flying Burrito Brothers, but they put out some quality country music. And that's I remember playing some of those songs and going, is this country? You know, that's Merle Haggard. He, got in the game, he throwing saxophone solos in, his stuff, trying to stay relevant. And it's an interesting time for country, but you can hear some really good stuff. So I would recommend it. Janet says, yes, Sawyer Brown. Brenda, yes, Sawyer Brown's awesome. You're right, ladies. You're 100% right. Anything else?
No, I'm out.
All right, one last thing before we take off for our weekend. So there are options. Obviously, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we want our path to be now. And for those of you who have subscribed and who are following along, that's great. I will say, 15,000 people on Facebook following along and only 2,500 subscriptions on YouTube. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, we need you to subscribe. And again, all you need is an email account to subscribe. It's free.
Totally free. But we would really like it if you would make that effort if you haven't. But there are opportunities for us, obviously making money, paying bills.
Yes.
Is what we would like to do with this. And a couple of things that have come up for us is like subscriptions, like Instagram offers a subscription option, and then Patreon, where we would create a Patreon where you spend money, and at certain levels you get certain perks. And our question to you would be,
what would be perks?
What would be perks that would be worth it to you to drop a few bucks a month on a subscription or on a Patreon account? Is it merchandise? Is it special private lives? Is it special content? Is it Q&A? What would be the thing that would make you go, man, it would be worth me paying $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever?
Because we're making a go at this, and we want to build it around you.
Yeah. So if you have thoughts on that, you have to answer immediately because we're getting ready to take off. But think about that. Talk about it with other people. Share and let us know. You can shoot us a direct message on Facebook or shoot us a message wherever. And the text line is still available. The Tony and Chris text line, and it's hilarious because people who TK1s, sending me texts now that are supposed to be going to the radio station. I'm like, Judas.
Yeah, what a weekend.
But 865-896-9363. That's right, I think.
Yeah. And to go back to one other quick point, we're so close to 3,000 subscribers. I think we're 300 or 400 away from that. If you guys would share that and maybe encourage your friends and say, look, if you got an email, a Google account, you can subscribe to YouTube and like that.
Yeah, we would love it. Susan, I love this. Why is it when we're sad or just broken up, why do we like listening to sad songs? Well, it's psychology, Susan, and they will tell you, I read this years ago, that it's actually very good for you.
Yeah.
To purge those feelings, to let it out, to not try to bottle it up is great for you. And I will tell you, when I've been in that mood, man, I'll put those songs on that I know trigger me, and I will just go. That hasn't happened in a long time.
But I'm going to tell you a sad song that you got to listen to since we're talking about older artists. Ronnie Millsap, Nobody Likes Sad Songs.
Oh.
Love that song.
I mean, sad songs say so much.
Well played.
That's what I did there. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you being here. And we hope you have a wonderful Easter weekend. If that's your thing. If it isn't, we hope you have a wonderful weekend in general. We'll be back for another live, if not before, then the first Friday of May. And remember, new shows are going up all the time.
New shorts are going up daily.
Yeah, the musical, the history, little things I'm doing, the little minute-long
We change our shorts daily.
Hey!
See what I did? I made an underwear joke.
As always, we want to serve you. So if you want content that you're not seeing on our channel, please let us know. Hey, I wish you guys would do more of this, or I wish you would do this kind of stuff, or tell these stories, or whatever. We'd love to make it happen for you. But if we don't know, we can't deliver. So thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Great to see you both. Or I'm reading her thing. Great seeing you. She's saying great to see us both. Great seeing all of you.
Gotcha.
And that'll be the end of that.
I just thought we had 2 viewers.
No, not many more, but a few. Thank you, guys. We'll see you.